Hello, everybody. Welcome to Choices, Finding Your Joy. I am here today with just a fantastic, amazing friend of mine. I have with us today Donna Sebo. She has been in broadcasting and television for years. She's an author. She does so many things. You're going to have so much fun with Donna today. And today we're going to be talking about the process of psychic exploration and our development. We are going to have so much fun.
Oh, yes.
First off, Donna, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, it's such a joy. It's always wonderful to be able to interact with a fellow broadcaster because that's how we became introduced.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Through radio programming, and look at you now. You're on television. It's marvelous.
It's so fun.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, share with everyone a little bit of your background and
I'd be
what
delighted.
brought you up to where we're at.
Well, let's see. I won't start back when I was 5, so we'll just make that simple. But seriously, I have followed a very unique life path. It wasn't something that I really ever thought was going to bring me into television and to radio and to public speaking and to authoring books. And I have to backstep a little bit because in the 1980s, I was with a very dear friend. I had started broadcasting up in Anchorage, Alaska. And when I started broadcasting there, I developed a friendship with a producer. Her name is Norma Heron, and she is not with us anymore. But I can remember standing outside of a hotel and telling Norma, I want to have an international show. And Norma looked at me and she said, Donna, the internet is just starting up. It is going to be the thing of the future. But she said, it's so expensive right now. You just can't do it. And I said, okay. But she said, you're going to do it one day. So here I am, many years later, with my own international radio network. And, the expansion because of technology, of being able to reach people like what you're doing through your television show. I've been involved in television and radio, to directly answer your question, since the late 1970s. And believe me, it has changed tremendously. And I think the wonder of it is that you're able to reach today via the internet, just as you are, anybody in the world.
Yes.
And I delight because I interview well over 300 people a year. So I have people from all walks of life, from all types of experiences. And these are people that are making an effort, wanting to make this world a better place.
Yes.
And that's what our programming is like. That's what you're all about. That's what I'm all about. And I think that is a real shift in media. Because those of us that are in media doing this kind of work, we are saying we want people to be empowered. We want them to know that, number one, they have options. And number two, that there is a huge world out there. You might be in a country, you might not be in the United States as we are. You might be in Ghana. You might be in Australia. You might be in an island somewhere in the middle of the Asian world. And guess what? You're able to share space with us.
We're together.
Yes. There's this marvelous communication and this wonderful opportunity to be able to bring people in. So I'm so privileged. Thank you.
Yes.
I really am so delighted to be with you today.
Oh, I just love it. This is so fantastic. Well, give us your thoughts on the process of, exploration and self-development.
Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. I always joke when people say, I want to be a normal person. I'll say, what's normal?
Yes.
I don't know. I've never met a normal person. And I was saying this just last night when I was giving a talk. I said, I really don't know what a normal person is. Everybody's going to have their opinions. But when you're in the psychic area, as I am, you're going to meet such a diversity of people and such a diversity of talent. And what I love about this, because psychic development is very much normal and natural. It belongs to everybody. This is something that I've spoken of from the very beginning. I said, if I could not, as a psychic, enable people to understand their own power, then I didn't want anything to do with it. I could care less about, quote unquote, the fortune tellers or anybody else. It is, how do you empower someone so that they know that their life has value, number one. But number two, how are you going to use it? What are you going to do with it? Because it's not necessarily a tangible. You've got it, it's built into you, and it's part of your survival kit. So when I started, I had the good fortune of a wonderful mentor. Her name was Gloria, and she was an astrologer. And Gloria was a very, very skilled astrologer. And I was put in touch with her at a time when, to put it bluntly, my life was in the toilet. It was really bad. I was in a very bad marriage. I was just dealing with issues that I was in my early 20s, and it just was something that I didn't know where to go. I just was absolutely lost. So I started having these dream experiences, and the dream experiences were so profound that I thought that my life was in danger. Yes. And I knew who the person was that was intimidating. And I can still, in my own memory today, at this moment, remember exactly what I was feeling, because I was in a cold sweat. I was miserable. I just said, oh my Lord, is someone going to try to attack me in a back alley, kind of an attitude, when you get frightened like that. Well, as it turned out, I was given information about Gloria. She was a perfect stranger, and I called her up on the phone. I'll never forget. This would make a great drama in a movie. It was in Southern California. There was a thunderstorm actually going on, which at that time was very rare. And it was pouring rain outside. And I remember picking up the phone, and I was trembling because I was one of these people, I never shared what went on in my life with anybody, except I had a very, very good friend. And Gloria, I just said to her, I said, I'm very frightened. I'm having these dreams I don't understand. And so I want to know if you can help me. This warm, vibrant voice came over the phone line saying, of course, I can help you. So I started telling her my dreams. And what she did, she took them apart segment by segment by segment. She talked about the colors because I was very detailed. I gave her the colors. I told her the animals that were in the dream. I told her what the environment was like, what I was experiencing. And she said, my dear, you have absolutely nothing to fear. What's happening is that you're crossing over into a brand new territory of your life. Oh my gosh. When she said that to me, all of that fear went away. It was gone. It wasn't there anymore. And so that was the beginning. I honestly don't remember the first time I met her, but I was at that woman's kitchen table. That's where she taught me. I was at her kitchen table, I don't know how many times a week, every week. I would drive, and at the time, Southern California traffic's terrible. At the time, when I was doing it, it took me over an hour to get to where she was. Wow. So I would commute over an hour during a working week to spend time with her, and then on the weekends.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this woman introduced me to all kinds of things. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you and your audience is because we never know what is going to bring us in contact with what environment, with what book. And the first thing, one of the first things that Gloria said to me, she said, they're coming out with publications that are talking about the psychic area and the scientific research. She said, I want you to read any and every book that you can get on Edgar Cayce, on anyone that is involved in the psychic area, Ruth Montgomery, Jean Dixon, and some of you listening to this, you may not recognize any of these names, but if you're interested in the psychic environment, if you do your research, you Google these people, and you're going to find out about who they are. And they were quite significant. They were the pioneers in communication with us. There's a wonderful healer, Olga Worrell. Amazing the scientific discoveries that they had with her. She transmitted energy over thousands of miles. They recorded it. Okay, they recorded this. And what do we have today? They're still saying, nah, this isn't possible. They were recording this stuff way back when. It was real. It was not, not makeshift. So I then was introduced by Gloria to reading, read your materials. And so there was a book club that I joined that specifically had scientific information and materials. And I was getting on a regular basis. I don't have them anymore because I made the mistake of loaning them to someone, and they're still in that person's library floating around somewhere. But seriously, it was the reading and then interacting with her, and then she introduced me to a spiritualist church. And I got to know Reverend Humble. And this Reverend Humble was like 6 foot tall. He was a farm boy from Illinois, and he was a straight shooter. You couldn't call him this guy. He was even called into court cases to testify about certain things. So Reverend Humble, he was a straight shooter. And at that time, I was, I guess you call shy. I wouldn't say very much. And believe it or not, that's true. And, and I'll never forget, because he was very intimidating to me. And he must have had an attack of PMS. That's all I can say on that day, because I asked him very timidly about his classes, and he burst out. He said, I am so tired of people wanting to be psychic and they don't want to work at it. And I just looked at him, and I did my eyes got as big as saucers, and I said, oh, really? And I didn't open my mouth after that. But he was a trance medium. Wow. And there's a whole slew of stories about him. He was a fabulous human being, loved children. He was great, but he was no nonsense. He said, if you want to know about psychic development, you have to understand you have it here. It is within you, but you're going to develop it. Now, I remember going to the very first class with him. And when you're in your 20s, you're sort of brain dead. You really don't have very much in the way of common sense or wisdom because you haven't lived very long. Yeah. And I was a single mom at the time. And so I went into this class, and there were about 20 people in the class. And I situated myself directly across from him. And what occurred is I started listening to what was going on in the class, the conversations. And of course, he said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn the lights out. I want you to focus on somebody in the circle. And then I want you to retain what you pick up, whatever it is, whatever it is, I want you to do that. And then after that, after a period of quiet, then I'll turn the light back on. And he had something like a soft light there. And I thought, okay, I'm really in a weird group here. I don't know anything about this. He's turning the lights off? Are you for real? Okay. So he did that. I sat very quietly. Now, I was single at the time. Mm-hmm. And there was this real good-looking guy that was sitting to my left. I said, I think I'm going to focus on you.
And that would be a distraction.
So I said, I'll focus on you. Well, I really thought it was a bunch of hooey. Mm-hmm. So anyway, this image comes into my mind, and I look at it. Okay, that's nice. So then we were sitting there maybe, 3 minutes. It couldn't have been longer than that. And so then what he does is he goes around to each one of the students. Now, I was directly across from him. I was in the middle of all this stuff. Okay. And I start listening to what people are saying. And I thought, I'm really with a bunch of nuts. These people just are not for real. They're real loonies. And I determined that I wasn't going to say a thing. Okay. Because there were some people that would say, no, I didn't get anything. And pass. It was fine. We're students, right? Okay. We're beginning. Yeah. Comes to me, I got hit with diarrhea of the mouth. Oh, no. I started talking. I'm telling you, I had no intentions on saying one word.
It just came out?
It just came out, and I couldn't shut up. And so here I am, blah, 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 blah. And he said, now that's very interesting, Donna. And he proceeded to tell the young man and explain what it was that I had seen and what it meant. Now, what I saw was this magnificent, huge door. And the door was made of wood. It is like one of those old European doors where they had carved. It was beautiful. And the handle on the door was like gold. And there was a filigree type of patterning around the handle. He turns to this young man and he said, you have a door of opportunity. I thought to myself, a door of opportunity? So then the next thing he says to the young man is, she is seeing this door of opportunity for you. And so what is happening here is there is the knob, and it's very ornate. So this is a golden opportunity for you, but you're the one that has to turn the knob to open the door. Now what happened, which was really fascinating, the young man turned to me and his eyes just glowed. And I just said, oh boy, you are good looking. Anyway, what he said was, this is amazing. He had just gone for an interview with a major company that very day. And that was an opportunity.
Oh,
He said, wow, I had no idea. And I said, you mean it meant all of that stuff? Really? Is that what it did? I was so surprised.
Yeah.
I was stunned. So then my attitude changed a
Yes.
bit, because until you experience something,
yes.
you just don't know. You really don't know. So here I am with him, and I then went on for other classes. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is this is my experience. Everyone who gets into the psychic area, into the healing area, they each have their own stories.
Yes.
Some of them, I was talking with an individual last night when I was doing a program, and this individual said that it was a near-death experience that transformed their lives. So when you have these things occur to you, it's amazing. But what occurs that's even more important is the fact that you then have a whole new awareness. And you realize that you've got a responsibility in life. And that responsibility means that you've got to be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't go back to what you were in the past.
Yeah. It's
transformative.
Changes, yes. Changes your life.
It changes everything.
It makes it real. That experience gave reality to it.
It does. And it doesn't stop. And it's like the Energizer Bunny. It keeps going and going and going and going. And I know there are people that are so gifted in the psychic area. I have a very dear friend, and she's intimidated by it. She's frightened by it. And that's one of the things that I try to do whenever I do programs or classes or I'm interacting with clients. I like people to know, don't be intimidated by this. This is a tool. I, for example, this is my life's work. This is what I do. This is what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
My mentor told me, Donna, you're a communicator. This is what you're meant to do. You're meant to show people that this is normal and this is natural and that it belongs to everyone. And it does. But it manifests itself in so many different ways. Different cultures, it manifests with a certain personality sometimes. And just last night, when I was doing a reading for someone, and I said, I want you to get a DNA test done because I want you to find out about your ancestral history. Because they've got a mixed ancestral history, like so many of us do today. Mm-hmm. It's mixed. It is, maybe they've got Japanese, or they've got German, or they've got African, or, whatever. We're, most of us, Heinz 57s. I know I am.
Yes.
So sometimes there's that genetic ancestry that is brought forward. Yeah. And I said, it will answer a lot of the questions that you have about yourself. And I would encourage any of you watching this to be aware, to explore yourselves. Be interested in who you are and in your family lineage. And be curious. Be willing to read. Be willing to explore and find those modalities that you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. You are very much involved in the area of healing. This has been something for you that is a passion. And with that, the intuition often comes in.
Yes, yes.
There's stuff about the left brain and the right brain, and there are some that are brain dead, but that's beside the point. They work together.
They do.
They're meant to work together. You don't have to be an extreme, either or.
Yes.
They work together.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yes. And I know myself with Reiki, energy healing, and then other modalities I've learned. I mean, there is the scientifics backing that up.
Yes.
It is. But yet, it is spiritual. It is energetic. It is.
Very
you have
much
to have
so.
faith, but it is. Both areas, both sides are there. And that's exciting. And as you mentioned, we all have that ability to open up and have intuition, and it's exciting. Each of us have our own special gifts.
That is true. And what I think is so special about the psychic area is that for each individual, it can be extraordinarily liberating.
Yes.
Because you are aware that you are one of the gazillion connections in this universe. And I always say this to my audiences. You're special wherever you are. You're a light. You're a beacon. When you turn that light off, when you deny your rightful heritage of your own intuitive processes, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what ethnicity you have. When you deny that part of yourself, then what happens is that you freeze up. You become encased in a cocoon of paralysis, of mental, emotional, spiritual, and even physical paralysis. So when you allow your own harmonic to flow, then, and you learn to trust the intuition, you learn to recognize how it works within you, then what happens, you're free. No matter what your environment is, you're free. And that is priceless. Nobody can ever take that from you, ever.
Yeah.
They can never take it from you.
That is priceless.
It is priceless.
And what it can open up.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Oh my gosh, just to think about that.
When someone, we often hear about, let me digress for just a minute. We often hear about how we're supposed to invest in ourselves. We don't think twice about taking college courses or becoming educated in a way that enables us to go out and to be a productive part of our society, wherever we are. And we should learn about integrity and honesty and all of these things. But when you add the intuitive side, when you bring that into the package, there is a harmonic that is so great. It is amazing to watch at work. It is really amazing to watch it work. And what I find so incredible is, for example, through my show, just like, you are a fellow broadcaster, you interact with people whose experiences are different from theirs. And when they talk about their experiences, they're giving you a gift. They're giving you a gift of a perception that may be unlike a perception that you've ever had before.
Yes.
Because you didn't have their experience and you didn't have their knowledge. So guess what? Your world has expanded. You are not unlike a physician that discovers by telling his patient, take a vitamin T pill and you're going to feel a lot better. This is what it's like.
Yes.
You never stop learning. You never stop growing. It hasn't quite gotten to a point where it prevents wrinkles, but it really...
But we'll just put that out there.
That's right. We're going to put that out there. That's the demand. But seriously, it is something that makes you aware that life really is exciting. And even if you're in the pits, and I've been in the pits in my own way, I think I've surprised people when they will say to me, oh, you're so lucky. You have this, that, or the other. And I'll look at them and I'll say, you don't know what's going on in my life. I don't think you'd want my life. And somebody would say, really? You got to write a book. Well, I'm getting around to that. But anyway, it's something that takes away, I think, at least it has for me, when I hear people's stories saying, oh, I wish I could be them. There was a story that I shared in one of my programs about a month ago. And in the sharing of the story, after I finished, and this person had gone through really, really bad stuff, very bad stuff. But they had had an awakening, I'll use that term, to something greater than themselves, which liberated them. And someone came up to me afterwards and said, oh, I wish I could have happened to me what happened to this person. And I said, oh, no, you don't. You don't want to ever, I want you to take that back in your thought. You don't ever want to go through what this person went through. You don't. You can have your own awakening in your own way. And that is what we need to remember. You don't have to drag yourself through the mud in life. You can be a willing student and be open, and you can learn from other people. You don't need to go through hell to have a transformation. And so often, Paula, what I find is that people have transformations often in a very gentle way. It comes over a period of time. And it's still happening with me. There are many things that are going on in my life, and in your life, the same thing is happening. And that's what transformations are all about.
Yeah. And isn't that beautiful? Because it's continual.
Yes. So your personal development coming full circle never stops. And believe me, that's a good thing.
Yes.
You want to know that you have something to look forward to.
Yes.
When you read about a woman that is in her 90s climbing mountains, you go, yes, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Because she's not giving up on life. She's in her 90s.
Yeah.
I've done interviews with people in their 90s. They're making movies. They're writing books. They're doing things.
They're amazing.
They are fabulous.
Yeah.
See, so we've got a whole new shift that's moving forward.
So exciting. Donna, you are such a delight. We are close to saying goodbye. I would love you to mention your books.
Oh, I'd love to.
If you would, before we say goodbye to everyone.
I have 2 award-winning children's books, and I'll put them both up. And you can go to my website, DelphiInternational.com. You'll find out, you can see all of the art in the books there. The Magic Hat is the latest one, and it's a story about healing, love, and the magic of storytelling. And then God's Kiss is a multicultural, non-denominational type of book. And it is about a little boy's dream journey that takes him into a valley with children and animals from all over the world. And they have a wonderful experience. We adults aren't invited, except when we read the book. And it's magical, and children around the world have really loved it. You can get it on Amazon, and you can find out about my show. Just go to my website, DelphiInternational.com, also MrsSibosClassics.com. And you can get in touch with me if you're interested in any of the materials that I have there. But, Paula, it's been a delight. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
It has been wonderful.
It's an honor. You do so much for so many. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to have you on the show today.
Oh, it's been a joy.
And to everyone, thank you so much. Love, hugs, and blessings.
Ditto.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.